So, hopefully this works, but I'm in my university. I'm at the very top floor of the residence hall, and I'm trying to get away from everyone because I'm here really for sports, but apparently they're already moving in. It's only September 1st, and school starts on the 25th. So hopefully this is far enough away so I won't get disturbed and everything. So today I want to talk about just a follow-up video on atheism, and this topic is I decided to talk about the atheist gift basket, or in other words, like the kind of things that you would expect if you are thinking about becoming an atheist and you're curious about why to do it, because we are kind of a minority. There aren't a lot of there isn't this big population of atheists. It's really hard to find other atheists. So the majority is Christian or theistic, so it's kind of hard, and it is hard to sort of stand out and be yourself. And if you're converting or if you're unsure about Christianity, you may think like, oh, well, what if I go to hell? Because you don't know, and that's okay to be unsure. But I want to give you some key points that are sometimes overlooked of what's really great about being an atheist. And I'm going to start with the really obvious. If you're an atheist, you don't have to go to church. In fact, it would be very weird if you did. Like, if you're going with friends or something. Like, when I go to church, I feel really awkward, so I just don't do it. And you don't have to, because you're an atheist, obviously. And, in my cross-country team, came earlier, the girls' team, there are a lot of Christians, and I feel really left out sometimes, and that's okay, because I am my own person, and school starts, I'll find other people to hang out with, but that's not the point. The point is that if you're an atheist, you don't have to wake up early in the morning on a Sunday and physically take yourself to church and sit through a really long sermon. And I've been to churches before. I mean, I'm not completely devoid of that. But, if you're a Christian, you love doing that, that's great. But this video is for people who are on the fence, and that's one reason right there. You don't have to go to church. So think about that you can spend your Sunday mornings, I don't know, sleeping in, or watching football, I guess, or whatever you want. You don't have to do that anymore. Another thing that goes with that don't go to church thing is that on big holidays that are religious holidays, you can celebrate them however you want. There's really no, rules to it. And some people may think, oh, well, if you're an atheist, then you shouldn't celebrate Christmas or Easter or whatever. And that's bullshit. I mean, it's a holiday, it's a day off, and you should be able to spend it any way you want. And if you want to spend Easter eating candy and not go to church for, half the day, that's great. That's fine. That's already what a lot of people do. And for Christmas, I think I've heard that a lot of people are Christian, obviously it's a holiday celebrating Christ. And then the Santa and the presents and all that kind of, overrode it. I'm not going to take a position on that, but if you're an atheist, you don't have to give a shit about any of that. You can just be like, hey, Christmas, family, Santa, chestnuts on an open fire. You can celebrate all the good stuff, and you don't even have to, read the Bible or go to church or thank Jesus anymore. I mean, you don't have to do it if you don't want to. If you're an atheist, and you probably won't, actually. But you can you can adopt holidays that are days off, and you can do whatever the hell you want with them. So that's one reason to become an atheist. Another thing that's often overlooked about atheism is that you aren't immoral so much as you can just make your own morals, which sounds scary to a lot of people because they think oh, well, I'm an atheist, now I can just kill people. That's really not what what atheism is about for the better of us. I mean, they're going to be assholes, but I'd like to think that a lot of atheists are good people, just because I'm one. But other than that, there are a lot of Christians who aren't good people. So it doesn't really matter what religion you are. You just have to, think about other people. Think about yourself. Think about how you're acting towards other people and your effect on them. And if you're an atheist, you don't have to refer that back to a book. You don't have to refer it back to the Bible. You don't have to look for morals in the Bible. You can look for it in life. You can take other people who are good people by example, who donate to charity or donate their time for other people. You see where that comes into play? That you're more current with your surroundings. You're more, in depth with how you're affecting other people. And with atheism, you don't have like a book to tell you what's up, and you don't have the 10 Commandments if you're an atheist. You're just supposed to know that that's wrong, because it is. I mean, if you want to dissect the 10 Commandments, there's a lot of stuff that isn't in there that's really important, like rape. So, my point being that if you're a Christian and you think that you're really moral, do you go around raping people because it's not in the 10 Commandments? No, and that's the same thing with atheism. You don't have to have it written in stone of how to act and what to do and how to live your life. You can do that based on experience. You can do that based on how you affect other people and take feedback and take criticism. And I think that's something that a lot of Christians have a hard time doing. But as I'm saying, that's one of the side effects of being an atheist, hopefully. I hope, is that you're more open to new opinions and you can accept criticism. Another thing that happens when you take away, the set in stone guidelines of the 10 Commandments or whatever is written in the Bible is that you have to question yourself more often. You can't just say, well, I didn't do this explicitly, so I'm okay. Or you cherry pick the Bible, or a lot of these bad behaviors that come from living by a book that's a very long book and that you can take whatever you want from it, essentially. And that doesn't work with atheism. With atheism, it's more like you're taking from life, and you're taking, the current version of life, not the version of life that happened thousands of years ago that isn't really attainable today. And another thing about atheism is that if you're not reading the Bible, if you don't have to read the Bible, this automatically gives you so much more time to read about the rest of the world, to learn about the rest of the world, to learn about other people and other cultures and different morals and how they're different in other countries. And it's just limitless, the amount of stuff that you can learn having not studied the Bible for hours a day, every day. And I've read some of the Bible before. I've read Genesis, and I want to read Exodus and continue on through it because I recognize that it's important. I recognize that the whole culture is set around this book, and I find it interesting. I do find it interesting to look at it with an open mind, but it's not one of my first choices to read for fun. And it's not one of my first choices to read for, for morals either. There's a lot of, fucked up shit in the Bible. And if you deny that, then you're delusional. I'm sorry. But I think that when you take yourself away from the Bible and believing it regardless of whether or not it makes sense or what the proof is, then you have a lot more time to read things that do have proof and that can be backed up and you can learn a lot from. And this, in theory, will create you to have a much more open mind and learn more and change your opinions more and not take personal attacks so seriously when someone challenges your beliefs, because instead of going back to the default of faith, you can instead back up your beliefs with logic and use logic to create your own morals. That sounds like a pretty good deal to me. Another thing that is a side effect, and kind of a good side effect of atheism, is that you're not bound by social pressure anymore. You're not bound by being, what other people think of as a really good person, or, this person goes to church every Sunday and does this and that, what are you doing? Or, I helped out this person today, and I'm a really good person, and I'm going to shame you because I don't agree with what you're doing. I mean, you can't avoid that. That's taken for granted. You can't avoid people who criticize you and criticize your life and think that you're doing everything wrong. But the thing with atheism is that to choose to be an atheist and to be open about it, it's really important to be open about it, is that you are sort of denying every single argument against you before they even begin. Just think about that. Like, in everyone else's mind who's a Christian, you are a sinner and you're going to hell. That's not what all of them think, but it's pretty common that they think that you're just going to burn in hell. And they may take pity on you, they may try to convert you, but the thing is that after taking for granted that they already think that you're just, weird or just this horrible person or this horrible situation, there's nothing you can really do to top that, if you think about it. And, if you're an atheist, please don't be an asshole. I mean, as a last resort, probably, but, if nothing else works, just be like, I don't care what you think. I don't care if you think I'm going to burn in hell. You know what? Maybe I'll like hell. Maybe there are a lot more people there who I can relate to. Just bullshit them, because there's nothing you can do to change their mind. There's no way you can convert them. And the purpose of this video isn't to convert people. It's to sort of give another perspective on atheism and the good things and not just the bad things, which are, social rejection and, alienation and, I don't know, being depressed or something. But I don't know. I don't think that that's the default for atheism. I don't think that it's unhealthy to be an atheist. I think it's very healthy. And I just wanted to share my ideas so that you can come to your own conclusions about atheism and whether or not you wish to believe it. And as in not believe in God.